It looks like Michael Andretti finally got it done. Michael Andretti is going to be walking through the Formula paddock real soon, acting like Borat, saying, "Give me your tears" to all of the team principals, because it appears that the FIA will grant Andretti Global and their partnership with Cadillac an F1 license, putting the ball now in Formula One's court to ultimately make a decision on whether they want to include Andretti Global and accept them as a new entrant or try to squash them out. But there could be a legal ramification if they do try to exclude them or delay any further their acceptance of Andretti's bid to join Formula One. So there's an EU directive that says unless there is a legitimate safety concern or there's something that will jeopardize the fairness of whatever that entity is trying to enter, then there's no grounds for them to deny entry for that organization, person, whatever. And Andretti falls right into that category. There's nothing safety-wise that should stop Andretti Global from making it into Formula One. And I know some fans, and Toto Wolff included, will cite the fact that, 11 teams, essentially, if Andretti gets accepted. 22 cars would just be too many cars on track. And it really wouldn't be, if we're being completely honest. In 2010, we had 12 teams and nobody had an issue. Well, the cars got a half a meter longer. Okay, fine. All FIA Grade 1 facilities have to have garages for 12 Formula 1 teams. They only go to FIA Grade 1 facilities, meaning there's enough garage space for everyone to be included, up to 12 teams, of course. So that argument by Toto, when he threw his dart at the excuse board that day, just is kind of null and void. And then you want to talk about qualifying. Well, it's going to be too crowded at Monaco. Monza's going to be too dangerous. All right, another excuse. We'll throw that dart at the board as well and pick that excuse for today. You can either run qualifying with 12 teams, which has been done before, or 11 teams in this situation, or you can just split Q1 into two different sessions, cut the time in half. You put out, 11 cars in one session, 11 cars in another session, and then Q2 is just a combined of those two sessions, and then we move on from there. There's some logistical things you have to work out, but nothing that should really slow the show down if we're being completely honest. So when you follow that directive, there's nothing that safety-wise falls in it. Does it jeopardize the fairness? Absolutely not. And I think that's where Andretti would point out that it is ironically not fair to not allow them in based off of all their criteria. So the FIA says that they met all the financial criteria, all of the team organization and structure and facility criteria. There's really nothing that Andretti has done that you would consider something that could nullify their bid to get into Formula One. They, of course, have their brand partnership with Cadillac and General Motors. It's not going to be a Factory Works outfit at this point. Could be in the future if GM/Cadillac wants to build a power unit 2026 and beyond, which sounds like they might want to. But for now, the plan was to just rebadge the Renault engine. Unfortunately, everybody wants to see them succeed. They're going to be down on some horsepower as a Cadillac engine, and some team principals, Christian Horner included, have had an issue with that, completely ignoring the fact that Ford is doing the exact same thing with the Red Bull powertrain. When they join, they're going to slap Ford branding on it. It's not created by Ford. Red Bull did this for years when they ran Renault power units as well. This has been done over the course of Formula One for decades, just rebadging power units, engines, whatever you want to call them, throughout time. So it's not, a crazy thing that Andretti wants to do that. They do have a tight time frame, though. Michael Andretti wants to be on the grid in 2025. We're already into the middle of September, basically, in 2023. That's a pretty short time frame. And granted, they've already been working on getting their team up and running. They've been doing wind tunnel testing. They've been working on things in preparation to getting this hopeful acceptance into Formula One. Having said all that, again, very tight time frame. Their plan is to just use the Alpine car as much as they can. Essentially, 70% of it, I think, is what's allowed based off of the regulations. And that's unfortunate for anybody who wants to see them succeed, because the Alpine is not exactly the greatest car out there right now, but it's a formidable car. It can get the job done for the time being. And then, of course, in 2026, all the regulations change again, and we'll, explore from there. So it's a tight time frame, and maybe waiting until 26 makes the most sense, but Michael Andretti wants to be here now. He and his partners have a ton of money. They want this dream to become a reality as soon as possible, and they're willing to fight it out in court if it comes down to that. They've already said that before. Hopefully it doesn't come to that, though. And now you're going to have people say that the other teams don't want them because then it takes away from the prize money, which it does, but that's what the whole point of the anti-dilution fee is as well. Whether it's $200 million or $600 million, Michael Andretti and his partners at Guggenheim are willing to pay that. Why? Because they have essentially infinite money. They have enough money that they never have to worry about what this project costs. They want to be a part of Formula One. They want to be in the sport, and they're willing to spend to make that happen. And I think if you're a Formula One team, that's one of the things that you have to view as a pretty appealing aspect of this partnership and this team wanting to join is the fact that they have a ton of money to put behind their team. They seem to, at least what they've been saying, they want to be a team that can contend, in the future. They don't want to be a team like Haas that's just completely fine running around as a backmarker. They're just happy to be involved in Formula One and use it as a marketing platform. Andretti and Cadillac, they appear to want to become one of those teams that can contend for a world championship. Whether that's a reality within the next few years remains to be seen. But for everybody else, it's good that another team wants to join. More competitive cars is not a bad thing. Again, you want parity in racing, and right now we don't have it, which is fine because Red Bull looked at the regulations, built a car that was the perfect build for what those rules say, and everybody else needs to play catch up now. It's not Red Bull's fault that they're just better than everybody else. Everybody else dropped the ball. But if you have another team that wants to join that mid-pack battle, essentially everybody battling for, third on back, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. If they're willing to spend the money, hopefully he can do some more to bring American open-wheel drivers into Formula One, get them into that pipeline. This is me thinking out loud now, but they'll likely probably end up doing something with Formula 2 and F3 as well, more than likely, to try to build that ladder system to get Americans and, people that have been in the American open wheel ladder, to Formula One. Colton Herta probably not going to happen, unfortunately for Colton. They just don't have the super license points to put him over there. Alex Palou right now is probably wishing he maybe went to Andretti because then he could have potentially been in line for a Formula One seat because that Ganassi on a multi-year deal now after shunning McLaren. Doesn't matter. What does matter is the fact that Andretti Global appears to be on the doorstep of joining Formula One. Whether there will be a 12th team added as well, not sure. High Tech, of course, submitted a bid that's a little bit questionable. Everybody's not really sure where all the money's come from. Is Nikita Mazepin's dad still funding some of this team through Dubai? It remains to be seen. I don't know if Formula One's going to even step in to care about that because money's money, right? So, Andretti Global on the doorstep of making it in. Hopefully they do. I think it's going to be better for the sport. Everybody talked about the Americanization. Having one actual American team is not a bad thing. They're going to bring more money. So, at the end of the day, it's going to be better for everyone. So, like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on TikTok @BreakHard, Instagram, Twitter, and Threads @BreakHardBlog.